Arts and Culture Commission meeting. Roll call, please.
Commissioners Viar,
Yes.
Fedor,
Yes.
Chair Commissioner Zadorian is unavailable today. Vice Chair Yank,
Yes.
Chairperson Tufenkian.
Yes.
Agenda item 1, regular business agenda. A, report of recorder reposting of the agenda. The agenda for the April 15th, 2021 regular meeting was posted on April 8th, 2021 on the bulletin board outside of City Hall. Agenda item 2A, consent items, approval of the regular meeting minutes from March 18th, 2021.
I have a quick, just a question, and maybe it's more of a verbal clarification than a modification to the minutes, but I'll ask anyway. On 5B1, with respect to Art Happens Anywhere, did we say that the 10 projects that are in the queue now, they're going to roll out on or before June 2022, correct? It's not like everything's delayed till then. It's sort of a rollout of the whole program from now until then, correct?
Absolutely, Commissioner Chair, that's correct. The extended deadline was to be released, projects released up until June 30, 2022, but projects ideally would release throughout the year.
Okay, and then I remember that we discussed, we decided that we would not reinstitute a call for Art Happens Anywhere until a certain point, and I can't remember, was there a certain date upon which we would reinstitute the call, or did we just leave it open?
I believe we left it open for now, but we did not decide upon a specific date that it would be released.
Okay, I mean, maybe it's after a certain number of projects get launched or something, and we don't feel like we have such a big queue. I just, wanted to keep that on the radar screen.
Mm-hmm.
That's it for me.
Chairperson Tufenkian?
Yes.
I would just like to say, certainly, if we feel we want to relaunch Art Happens Anywhere, the commission is free to do that. I just would keep in mind some of the other projects that we're doing along with Labatt's and Associates and that. So we may have, too much to do there, but certainly it's, if the commission does want to relaunch it in some fashion, they certainly can do it. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that would be great.
Do we have a motion to move?
I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
I think I heard Commissioner Vidor, so I'll put that down. Roll call, Commissioners Vyar,
Yes.
Vidor,
Yes.
Vice Chair Yank,
Yes.
Chairperson Tufenkian.
Yes.
Thank you. Agenda item 3A, Library Arts and Culture events presented by Jennifer Futomi, Arts and Culture Administrator. Let me pull this up while we're here. Okay. Okay, first up, My Relic by She Loves Collective is an interactive art installation that intends to activate our community to transform their relics of genocide broadly construed into creative objects and outlets for the creative collective mourning of trauma throughout transformation. This installation is taking place at the city's 3 ATEL units on Arsac Avenue and will feature 3 individual installations. The first one is at 117 Arsac. It's a ritual in bread baking and invites Armenian bakers and chefs to use lavash bread, which is traditional Armenian oven-baked bread, and to create items that make up a typical room in a home, featuring everyday home furnishings. Lavash activates a cultural and biological reality in many Armenians, as food is one of the most important human memories. Abstract bread is often a symbol for hunger, starvation, or hunger for change. Room 123 on Artsakh Avenue is Relics, which will feature 50-yard-long white tapestry suspended from the ceiling of the store that digitally displays printed images of Armenian relics and ancestral heirlooms, and objects that evoke a memory of ancestral struggles, scars, loss, and also triumphs and survival of images and photos. A QR code also allows participants to scan and learn more about each relic. And in the last unit, 127 Artsakh is Reclamation, which features hundreds of shoes that will be placed in piles of the remnants of a war bombing on the backdrop of Mount Ararat with a large digital black and white poster. The temporary installation is funded by the Glendale Arts and Culture Commission through the Urban Art Program and with support from the Glendale Library Arts and Culture and Glendale Economic and Community Development Department. For more information, you can visit the screen, but I also wanted to invite Commissioner Vidor, Commissioner Vyar, and Chairperson Tufenkian. I know all visited the tour of My Relics. If you had any comments or commentary for the installation, we'd love to share your thoughts.
Well, I certainly will share my excitement about it. I think it's an extremely powerful and transformative and complex and labor-intensive exhibit to put up. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And the enthusiasm of the artist collective when they showed us through it was really, pretty infectious. It got me all excited, and I started spreading the word around because it's just so beautiful. And I think that, we had talked about not necessarily attaching cultural exhibits like this to a particular month. And I realize this is Armenian Genocide Commemoration Month, April. But is there any way possible we could extend this exhibit out a little more? Because obviously it took so much effort to put it up, and it's so beautiful that it certainly could use more time. So would that be something we can consider?
That is a great question, Commissioner Vidor. The units are overseen by the Community Development and Economic Development Department. And the unfortunate situation is that the exhibit has to come down on April 25th because they are going to be launching their Artsakh Creative program, and they need to clean the units and have them prepped and ready for the Artsakh Creative program to launch. But I definitely understand your interest and excitement about extending the exhibit, but unfortunately for this time, it cannot be extended.
Thank you.
I'd like to say that this is definitely an exhibit that shouldn't be missed. It's regrettable it can't be extended. It's very impactful, and just based on the public response so far has been has been surprising to the artists, and I think it's been such a strong response that we should encourage everybody to see it in the short amount of time that it's going to be available, and encourage the artists to replicate this someplace else in our city. Thank you.
I concur with both my fellow commissioners. I think it is a fabulous installation, really powerful, very relevant, and labor intensive, and an amazing installation to see. If there's anywhere in the city that we might be able to move these to, if those spaces are unavailable, that would be good, because it would be a shame to lock these up, put them in storage, and not be able to view them after the 25th, especially the lavash room.
Thank you. Yes, we will research that possibility.
Thank you.
I'm going to go to the next slide. Colors by artist Kevin Halligan is an installation about perspective and the lenses in which we see, by the engaging the viewer with a series of colorful semi-transparent planes suspended through the space. This art installation is currently on exhibit at the Adams Community Park gas station through May 21st and is sponsored by the Glendale Arts and Culture Commission, with support from Glendale Library Arts and Culture and Community Parks and Services and the Adams Hill Neighborhood Association. For more information, please visit the link on the screen. We have creating design and industry in Armenia. Architect, designer, and artist Vasken Brudyan discusses his brand Ardeon with graphic designer Harry Varparian. Ardeon is dedicated to transformative advancement of art. Design has become one of the pillars of the developing industry in Armenia. Dedicated to education and discourse, it functions as a center for designs in Yerevan and has become an archetype and a model for local design companies and brands. This pre-recorded conversation will premiere on April 15th at 6:30 p.m. And for more information, please visit the link on the screen. We have Sites of Fracture. On April 19th, the Reflect Space Gallery will launch an online exhibit entitled Sites of Fracture, Diasporic Artsok. This virtual exhibit brings together diaspora and Armenian artists from the United States, Canada, and Germany to create a collective counter-narrative to forces of occupation and cultural erasure in the Republic of Artsok. For more information, please visit the link on the screen. We have Brand 49. The Brand Library and Art Center announces its 49th annual National Juried exhibition of works on paper. Cash awards total over $4,000, including a juror's award. All accepted artworks will be included in a show at the Brand Gallery or as part of a virtual show, depending on the pandemic restrictions, and in both printed and online exhibition catalogs. This year, the brand associates are removing financial barriers to Brand 49 with entrance fees that are greatly reduced and, if necessary, waived completely. Brand 49 welcomes Marvela Mural, Director of Artistic Programs and Education at Self-Help Graphics and Art in Los Angeles. This is your juror. Mural oversees and implements exhibitions at Self-Help Graphics and Art. Since 2019, has been overseeing the Artist Lab and Artist in Residence programs with specific interest in creating multidisciplinary approaches and community engagement. And the application deadline is May 23rd. So for more information, please visit the link on the screen. And that is it.
I just have a quick question, if I can ask. Jennifer, I saw the design one, and I was looking through the Be the Change website to post some of the upcoming events to social media, but I actually didn't see that one until you showed it just now. So just a note to that it's kind of hard to find some of these events on the website sometimes.
Okay, I will make sure to let staff know, and then I can also send an email link out as well to the commissioners. Chair Tefankian, shall I move the agenda forward? Okay, agenda item 4, oral communications. It appears as though we don't have any at this moment. So I'm going to move on to agenda item 5. Action item 5A, report on the public hearing notices of the Art Happens Anywhere murals, California Love, and Yoshito Meditating in the Woods. Motion approving the allocation and expenditure of funds to cover the cost of printing and mailing public hearing notices for the Commission's design review public hearing of the Art Happens Anywhere murals, California Love, located at the Verdugo Skate Park, 1621 Kenyatta Boulevard, and Yoshito Meditating in the Woods, located at the YMCA 140 North Louise Avenue, in an amount not to exceed $6,000 from the 2021 6-month work plan. And as we discussed or shared, as staff shared in the report, we have been advised that in order to approve or to host a public hearing for design review of these 2 murals, we will need to present public hearing notices via mailing and with a large sign out on the location of the property. So staff is requesting permission to do so with funding from the Urban Art Program.
Caroline's muted.
Do we have any questions or concerns? Arlene?
Just a question. The $6,000 is it $3,000 per notification for each of the 2 murals? Do I understand that correctly?
Yes, that is correct. So the $3,000 is per, like you mentioned, per mural approval. We purposely estimated high. It's not anticipated that the mailings and the printing would cost that much, but wanted to reserve a specific amount in case it were to go over, which it most likely will not. But you're right, it is $3,000 per mural.
Yeah. I'm hoping that maybe we can carve out some of these temporary things for. Hello? Do you hear me? Oh, all right. I'm hoping we can carve out at some point in the future some of these large notifications, especially as related to temporary murals. I mean, maybe there's a delineation for more permanent projects, because and murals are the only thing that's called out for public notification through the mail, right? And other public art formats and genres don't seem to be subject to that. Is that correct?
That's correct. Under the current mural ordinance.
Right. Okay. And perhaps because there is such a sophisticated and well-established notification system by email for different things, maybe we can move people into more of an electronic thing as time goes on and solicit them to give us our email addresses so we can do this electronically and avoid the expense of postal mail, because it seems like, it's like we're putting an expense in there that can really add up after a while. So that's just a comment. I'm in favor of doing this and going ahead with it, but I think in the future we have to take a look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. That's a great recommendation.
Very good suggestion. Commissioner Villar? Any questions or?
No questions or comments.
Okay. And Vice Chair Yank?
Does this include the design review board fee? Or would that be separate?
There is no design review board fee. That was eliminated when it was transferred, approval was transferred over to the Arts and Culture Commission. But this is what the application fee included previously, was mailings and printings and things like that. So we're trying to kind of find a way in which to do both without having an application fee on behalf of the artist or the applicant.
I see. So the fee was eliminated, but the process is still going through the design review board.
Correct. The process was included things like the staff time or materials that were needed to be printed or things like that were part of the application fee originally.
Chair Tefankian and Vice Chair Yank. So it is no longer going through the design review board. That authority is now residing with the commission. But yes, we still, as Jennifer said, we still have those costs of the mailings and all of that. But thank you.
Thank you. And I believe that previously the application fee, the design review application fee was around $4,000, right? So
that's correct.
Okay. And the difference was because that allocated for their hours as well, or was there other things that they included in that fee?
It was primarily their hours. So,
No.
I mean, there is cost, just as, you know, Jennifer working on all of these things. There
Mhm.
are several hours that take place. So they were trying to offset those costs.
One more question. Is the notification, what is the criteria of the notification? Is it within 200 feet, 300 feet, or is it a certain perimeter around it? Who gets notified by mail?
I believe it's 500 feet.
500
Correct.
feet. Okay. Thank you.
And I'm sorry, I didn't get it. Do we have a date for this?
Our goal, if approved by the commission, our goal would be to have the public hearing for the 2 murals at the next meeting, which would be May 20th, I believe, the Arts and Culture Commission meeting.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any other questions or concerns? Okay, and do we have a motion?
I move that the commission approve the allocation of funds to cover the costs of printing and mailing public hearing notices for the commission's design review of California Love and Yoshido Meditating in the Woods.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will do roll call. Commissioners Vyar,
Yes.
Fedor,
Yes.
Vice Chair Yank,
Yes.
Chairperson Tufenkian.
Yes.
Thank you. Agenda item 5B, report on mural policies and procedures. Motion is recommending that the Director of Libraries and Culture enter into a professional services agreement in an amount not to exceed $15,000 from the 2021 6-month work plan with Sarah Odenkirk, a public art ordinance consultant, to draft 1, policies and procedures for artists submitting and the city's processing murals on private property and city property. 2, criteria for the commission's evaluating and approving the murals. And 3, contract template for the commissioning of public art.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions or concerns? And we'll start with, I think it is Commissioner Vyar.
Not at the moment, no, thanks.
Okay, Commissioner Vidor?
No, I talked to a couple people in the public art world and ran across a wonderful workshop video on Vimeo of Ms. Odenkirk conducting a panel discussion about the democratization of the Los Angeles mural ordinance. And she is really an impressive person who obviously knows a lot about this field, and being an attorney also, she's definitely seen probably the worst and the best of case law with respect to murals. So I'm, based on what I've heard and seen, I would enthusiastically endorse her.
Oh, that's great. Can you share that with us at some point?
I'll send it to Jennifer to share with you, since I don't think I can communicate with the whole commission, but it's like an hour plus long, and it was like one of the best hours I've ever spent in terms of educating myself about this activity, of which I know very little. So yes, I will send it to Jennifer.
That's
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, Arlene. And Vice Chair Yank, any questions or concerns?
No, not at this time. Sounds great.
Okay. And I too looked up her, I guess I found her firm and read a little bit about her, and very impressive. So I think that's great. My only question is, how did it happen? Did they apply for it, or how did this come about? How do we find her?
Director Schaefer, do you want to respond to that, or I can?
I'll be happy to. So actually, City Attorney's Office had investigated potential folks, and I think came across one of her videos as well, or a workshop. So I think, and then the Coro Fellow actually spoke to her as well. And so it just seemed like the best course of action, and given the reasonableness of the cost, it was within our ability to move forward with this, given if the commission does in fact approve her, which it sounds very positive. So thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I think she's very well qualified, and I would wholeheartedly support her. And if there are no other questions or concerns, is there a motion to move?
I'd be happy to move unless there's more questions. No? Okay. I'll move that the Arts and Culture Commission recommends to the Director of Library Arts and Culture that we enter into a professional services agreement in the amount not to exceed $15,000 from the 2021 6-month work plan for Sarah Odenkirk, a public art ordinance consultant, to draft policies and procedures for artists submitting and cities processing murals on private property and city property, and the criteria for the commission's evaluating and approving the murals, as well as a contract template for the commissioning of public art as more fully outlined in the April 15th report from the Library Arts and Culture Administrator.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Roll call, Commissioner Spire,
Yes.
Fedor,
Yes.
Vice Chair Yank,
Yes.
Chairperson Tefenkian.
Yes.
Thank you. Agenda item 5C, report on the 2021 Grand Library Plaza Series. Motion approving the temporary postponement of the 2021 Grand Library Series. And this is in regards to, as we mentioned in the report, staff had initially reached out to the Parks Department regarding potential locations for the Grand Library Plaza Series. Due to social distancing and COVID-19 restrictions, the plaza itself is too small to accommodate the Plaza Series. So we discussed different possibilities for locations. There, the baseball diamond is already booked. The Japanese tea garden and various locations at Brand Park are already booked. And so Parks Department had recommended the usage of Central Park. When we investigated more into the possibility of Central Park, we found out that there is going to be a groundbreaking ceremony for the new Armenian National American Museum on July 11th, and that the Parks Department would need approximately 1 month to prepare for the groundbreaking in regards to moving the Korean Comfort Woman statue, moving benches, and preparing the space for the groundbreaking. So that is why Central Park is not available. But Director Schaefer, is there anything else to include?
No, I think you covered everything. Thank you.
Central Park would not be available from what date?
Basically about 1 month prior to June, July 11th. So early to mid-June, the Parks Department would like to start removing pieces and preparing the area for the groundbreaking ceremony.
And we also have an artwork that is going to be on display in Central Park. At least that is the plan. So just prior to that, so pretty much the entire summer has been is blocked.
Huh. Well, I know people look forward to this. Is there any way that we could maybe instead of having like month-long or all summer long series, can we do a 1-day music event?
So I think that that could be something we could agendize for future. Like we need to see how the pandemic plays out. It certainly looks like it's opening up, and that is actually something that I threw out. So I'm very happy to hear you say that. But I was thinking, yes, would there be a way somewhere in the city to do probably in early fall, maybe a 1-day music event with some of the, but I think we don't have that agendized now. So I think we would need to, do that at a future meeting.
Okay. Any questions or concerns from fellow commissioners? Commissioner Bayar? Commissioner Vidor?
Yeah, is there any possibility of considering Verdugo Park? Because that is a very, very large park. It's relatively flat. Many music and dance events have been held there. And although it's not quite as centrally located as Central Park, it certainly is accessible. I believe it has good parking or parking nearby. So could that be a possibility?
We could certainly check, but Parks did not offer that as a potential venue. So our presumption is that it's probably, obviously, their role is to book things at Parks. So the presumption is that they've already have that booked, but, we're certainly happy to check with them.
Thank you.
Yeah, great.
One more question. I know that now that the groundbreaking is happening, probably the Central Park will be occupied quite a bit by that activity. But after the park is, after the museum is completed and the new park configuration is available, will the park accommodate, the green space part of the park accommodate music events like that in the future?
So there are actually, once the museum is constructed or as it finishes up, there is actually a master plan for Central Park to remake it. So I think eventually, yes, there is planned space. I think there was, now when I say amphitheater, do not get visions of a very large amphitheater. I have a sense that there's at least a smaller amphitheater that's going to be located closer to the library. At least that's what's on the plan now. But I think there's also going to be a lawn area that, chairs could be set up on that would actually be larger than the amphitheater. But that's just me going off my memory. But I know those features are going to be there. But that's, again, once the museum is either completed or well on its way to completion.
Thank you.
You bet.
That would be great. And Vice Chair Yank?
No concerns, only to say that I do like the idea of maybe having some kind of single night event if it turns out that might be a possibility, just to keep the series alive in people's minds and know that it will return full force, when the pandemic is over.
Yeah. And I think people having been locked up all this time, people are looking forward to having events. So, do we have a motion to move this?
Okay, I'll move it the motion is to
Postpone.
temporarily postpone the 2021 Brand Library Plaza Series as fully outlined in the April 15th report.
I'll second.
Can we add in there that we would like it to be, considered for a different, either different park or a one night or so? So it's not definitely just postponed.
Yeah, and maybe what about just generally alternative, possible evaluation of alternative venues like Artsock Plaza or Verdugo Park? Those are examples only, but keeping it open.
So I think a commissioner could make a friendly amendment, but I'll defer to Mike Grant.
I'm sorry, can you repeat it?
So the commission is requesting that we amend the motion to explore alternative venues, perhaps timing for the Plaza Series, or even potentially doing, I think it could probably be summed up as just explore alternatives, including even a one day or evening event or something like that.
Chair, Chair Tsinkian and Commissioners, yes, you can amend the motion.
Okay, thank you.
It may be best, given that we only have a few commissioners, that Commissioner Vidor make that amendment. Seems how it's her motion.
Okay, so the motion would stand as it is with an addition to say, with the possibility of consideration of an alternative venue to be determined, making it a possibility, not a definite. Could we say that, the possibility of an alternative venue to be considered?
Yeah, and I think if you could include,
The one,
postponement implies timing, or even a one day,
One day.
yeah, right.
one day or one evening event.
Okay, and or a one-day music event in the future. So those two things, possible alternative venues or a one-day music event in the future.
Thank you.
I think we have a
And do we have a
second
second?
Yeah, I'll repeat my second with the amended motion.
Thank
All right,
you.
great. Yeah.
Roll call. Commissioners Vyar,
Yes.
Fedor,
Yes,
Vice Chair Yank,
Yes.
Chairperson Tufenkian.
Yes.
Thank you. Agenda item 6A, 2021 6-month work plan progress updates. This is in regards to 1, citywide arts, Art Happens Anywhere projects update. We, in your packet, I believe the packet that the commissioners received, it would be page 21, but online is page 19. There is a list of updates to the Art Happens Anywhere project launch dates. I did reach out to all 10 artists. I heard back from the majority of them, but I'll just quickly go down what the timeline in regards to their proposed launching of the events. So the first up would be April 28th through May 14th, meter pole art for Jennifer Benson Gable. May 31 to June 4th is Projected Visions by Ryan Griffin at the Alex Theater, the back wall of the Alex Theater. June 12th and 13th, I have not heard back yet from the Museum of Neon Art, but we are holding those dates for them for the proposed drive-through art festival. The 2 Art Happens Anywhere murals we're hoping to launch sometime in June, July of this year, pending design review approval. October 2nd through November 14th is the newly proposed dates for Light Waves by 1111 Creative Collective. December of 2021, A Ride Like the Wind by Kathy Horrenda will be launched at the Central Library Drought Tolerant Garden. Fall or spring of 2022 is Color and Dance by Versatile Dance Company, and they are proposing, I think the commission really wanted an in-person engagement, so it's really dependent on how soon we're able to do that safely at the Brand Library. So that's kind of in the air right now. Armenian Folk Dance and Music Ensemble by Laranzog Dance Ensemble. They are proposing, I actually just spoke to her yesterday, so there's an update in that. And she is proposing, instead of the original proposal of performing at hospitals or places that were for essential workers, they are now proposing the idea of having a one-day kind of musical dance event in April of 2020 in collaboration with Armenian Genocide Remembrance Month for 2020. And Impending Storm by the Blue Marble Art Collective will launch sometime in January through March of 2022. But those were the updates that I've received so far from the Art Happens Anywhere artists. Are there any questions? No?
Commissioner
One
Vyar?
question. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Should we go down the line? Commissioner Vyar, any questions, concerns?
No, thanks.
Okay. Commissioner Vidor
no comments. Thank you.
and Vice Chair Yank?
My only question is just how do we normally communicate about these projects when they launch?
Usually they're through, I send usually an update email to the commission, kind of categorizing the different projects that are in process, and do that via email. And then I also update the commission at the meeting. But if there's a preferred way or an updated way that the commission would like to receive information, I'm happy to do so.
No, that's fine. I'm sorry. My question, just to clarify, meant for public. Does it go through the communications office or we post it to the website? I'm just curious.
Sure, yeah, it's generally posted to the website. A lot of these artists, specifically these 10, actually 9 out of 10, Jennifer Benson Gable has been contracted, but the rest of them have not been contracted so far because the dates are in flux. Once we have an assigned agreement with the city, then we begin promotion and we start to put it on the website and share it via social media and prepare a press release. But that's why these 9 projects have not been listed so far because we're still waiting to have an agreement with them.
That sounds great. One suggestion, just for the future, is when you do share information with the commission, if you guys ever put together a little digital kit or something like that, where there's some images, approved PR images, and maybe some, descriptions or something of the work, I think, we could be helpful in sending those out to our networks as well. I just have noticed in the past that it's very difficult to like grab images from the city website. Like you can't do that. And it's hard to find images of the work. So if that is something that's possible in the future, I would appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. That's a great recommendation. And I know the way our specifically the arts and culture website is through Wix. And unfortunately, when you pop up a window, you can't download the photo. So then I have to upload the photos onto a different website so that people can download the photos. So that's a great note, and I'll make sure to do that for future projects.
And it might just be a little folder or something that can be shared of like, here's all the, the updated images or something.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you.
Great suggestion. Commissioner Vidor?
Yeah, I actually had a comment for Commissioner's comments, but it's relevant to what Commissioner Yank just mentioned, so I think I'll bring it up here. I was noticing in my attempt to share information about some of the projects on social media that when you click on the web-based announcement, and then you get an icon that comes up like when you're sharing on social media, instead of getting an image and title of the actual project, you get, and I don't know what that's called in tech language. It looks, I would call it an icon, but it may have another name. You get, instead of getting a picture and a description, you always get the generic library, arts and culture, and it's gray and it doesn't reflect the subject that you're sharing. So I was wondering, how technically something obviously a computer programmer could do to make it so that when you do hit the share button and try to put it on, say, Facebook or Instagram, that you would get an image or title for the article or the PR or the announcement, whatever it is. Am I making sense? I'm not sure I explained it well.
I think so. Oh, Director Schaefer, do you want to share?
Yeah, I think so. I just wanted to share that the city is in the process of migrating to a new website. And in that process, we will eventually be moving the Arts and Culture Commission website kind of over to that same platform. So the URL will still work, that you can go type in like you want to visit just Arts and Culture Commission and it'll go right to that. So we'll share the feedback you're having, but I suspect that it will work much better, in the new system. Ideally, you want that, exactly the photo that you want and the story you want, and it would actually drive the traffic to that city website, and then there would be more information. So it doesn't sound like it's very helpful now. And so my hope is that with the migration, and please be patient, there are several city departments and several, so we'll eventually get there. They'll probably do commission by commission, but we'll definitely share that feedback. So the new system doesn't act the same way, and if it does, we'll get it fixed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Vidor, that's a great recommendation. And I manage the Arts and Culture website, and I'm a complete novice with website management. So I have just been learning my way through the Wix system, but I will investigate that as well and see if there's a way for it to have a more descriptive image come up. I didn't know that was doing that, so I appreciate you sharing that.
Pleasure.
And I would say if there's a way that we can, I guess, let the public, let the community know about our website more, because a lot of people that I've been talking to lately really are not aware of the wonderful projects that we've done. And, a lot of times these go just unnoticed. So if as commissioners we can share the work on our social media, and if maybe in our utilities mailer every month, something from the Arts and Culture Commission can go, check out our website for all the new things that are coming up. I think if we can get people more excited about the arts that we are generating and supporting, it would be great.
Thank you. That's a great recommendation. We'll research that.
Okay. All right, moving along.
Okay, the next under City Arts is the Bass Projects update. So the Bass Projects team has been conducting several informational interviews with community stakeholders. I believe that at this point they've done maybe over 15, maybe close to 20 stakeholder meetings. They're currently in the process of, I believe it was yesterday or today, literally driving around Glendale, scoping locations and getting more boots on the ground to research potential locations for public art. In regards to next steps, we are going to be working with them on an RFQ, RFP process for the iconic public art that will be shared at the May meeting. And we will be inviting them to attend the May meeting to provide updates and discuss the RFQ, RFP. But Director Schaefer, is there any other additional updates to share?
Not at this time, no. I just appreciate the work they're doing and getting out and talking to everyone in the community. And I believe they've met with all of you.
Very nice, thank you.
Okay.
Moving along.
I'm going to move on to the next item. Pardon me while I pull this up. This is in regards to neighborhood arts. So on April 7th, I believe, a week ago on Thursday, we held an artist review and selection committee for the Adams Square Mini Park gas station. Thank you, Chairperson Tufenkian and Commissioner Zadorian for being on this committee. We also had Arsenio Sayan from the Parks and Department, who manages the Adams Square Mini Park gas station, who is also in the room. And I wanted to share the programming that was potentially proposed as finalists for this 2021-2022 cycle. First up, we have Lumpen Station by Beck. Revolting Lumpen series is a bright and colorful performance and installation experience, combining wearable sculpture, performance, dance, music, and live operatic vocalizations. The entire installation was created by using 3 tiles, velvet, cotton, and mesh, as well as wood, foam, and plex for structure. For the Adams Square Mini Park gas station, the artist would hang 1 or 2 of the Lumpen chandeliers with lights, depending on how much room is in the space. And I have talked to them. They are good to go for a launch in July through August, and I think it'll be a colorful installation to the gas station. Next up, we have Wave Pool by Emily Endo. Wave Pool would consist of 4 large floor-to-ceiling plexiglass shelves installed inside of the Adams Square Mini Park gas station. Each shelf would display glass sculptures, and the artist's goal would be to transform the station building into a transparent. I'm still in the process of talking to this artist, but we are tentatively having August to October of 2021.
Jennifer, I apologize, but is there any way you can hold your mic a little closer to, you keep cutting in and out and we can't hear you.
Apologies. Sure.
No worries. And we'll request a new microphone for you.
Next up, we have Diversity Tree by artist Dylan Garcia from October 4th to November 12th. Diversity Tree is a mixed media installation inspired by the materials developed in a Oaxacan experimental art gallery. Materials such as colored rope, copper wire, Velcro straps, reflective paint, green LED light strips, sandpaper, fish line hook, fish hooks, tea bags, and clear Gorilla Glue and plywood board. The tree is a symbol for LA County's diverse population, with the drooping tree branches and leaves represent the ethnic communities within, capturing a feeling of cultural unity. And I spoke to this artist this morning, and this is literally hot off the presses, something that he is proposing as a design rendering for the gas station, which would be 2 pyramids as shared and then hanging installations within the gas station. Next up, we have Black Souls by Marshall Yappo. And this is a tribute of artwork in memory of the Africans who lost their lives on American soil alone and afar from their land. There will be about 20 to 25 African masks lined up with plywood bars lined up. Installation would represent a 3D American flag within 2/3 of the gas station. And Marshall was also able to share this image, and he said that the masks would be made out of gas tank holders, plastic holders. So if you flip it upside down, now you can see it. You can see the face of the mask. So that's what those materials would be made of. Next, we have The Happiness You Deserve by Renee Barnard. And this is a lightweight abstract suspended installation made from found and recycled materials, such as paper, plastic, wire, and string. The soft sculptural artwork would be created especially for the Adams Community Park gas station and intended to uplift, and inspire passersby during these challenging times. The artwork would be approximately 4 feet by 5 feet and be illuminated from its interior for evening viewing with solar-powered LED. And I spoke to Renee this morning, and it would be very much like this on the screen, and also made out of very thin, light paper textiles. That would also be part of the materials used. Next up, we have Merchant Zertun by Nelly Ostrovovsarian from April to May of 2022. And Merchant Zertun translates to Our Home, Your Home, and it's taken from the Armenian folk song Nayaman by Armenian troubadour and genocide survivor Komitas. Quilting is a powerful communal act, bringing individuals together to think about the convergence of personal and collective memory while creating a meaningful, inclusive object. The artist will mail to each participant, both in the US and internationally, a standard square cloth of exact dimensions as they mark and choose what home means to them. Some lightweight supplies, including embroidery thread, a fabric marker, felt pieces, and a paid stamped envelope in the mail. And I spoke to Nelly earlier this week, and she's actually going to be traveling to Armenia very soon. And she has made relationships with different organizations, specifically those working with aid to Arsak. And so she's going to be reaching out to those communities and having them mail back pieces of home as part of the quilting exhibit. Last up, we have Everything is Connected by Clara Pana, would take place from May 23rd to July 8th of 2022. And Everything is Connected is a site-specific installation consisting of various gigantic origami forms. These forms will vary in size and shape, and the installation pieces will be constructed on paper and massive photographic prints with metal accents. So the pieces that you see are some examples of Ms. Apana's work, but also would include she's very open to making sure that the printed photogenic paper is very colorful, quite like the piece on the left that would kind of really pop within the gas station. So those are the examples of the programming for the finalists. Chairperson Dufenkian, do you have anything you'd like to share as part of the committee?
There were so many wonderful applicants, and I think Jennifer, you did a great job of selecting the best ones, and just can't wait to see them. I think it's going to be exciting. Thank you.
Regards to discussion item 3, performing arts, we do not have an update. For arts cultural events, there's an update. I will move the agenda to agenda item 7, commission staff comments. Oh.
Yeah, I just have a question. Somebody asked a question. I think it was at the meeting, the arts community meeting that's held on a monthly basis. Caroline goes and I go as the commission representative, and some folks asked about the 222 East program and whether that's going to be held and whether it's going to be on the steps, or somebody had the impression that there was going to be 222 East at Artsock Plaza. So I thought, we should answer that question since people were asking about it.
Sure, that's a great question. We had initially, the 222 East concert has happened in various locations. Once was in the Central Park Paseo, once was on the steps of the library. And last year in 2020, we had proposed moving the 222 East concert to Artstock Avenue. That series didn't happen for obvious reasons, but we are definitely hoping that it's going to happen again this October and would take place at Artstock Avenue. But that is definitely up to the commission's decision and or direction.
And that would be the same artists that were selected in the last round of selections, right?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so moving ahead.
Any additional commission staff comments?
Oh, comments? I have one, but I'll go in my order.
Commissioner Vyar, any?
Just lots of intriguing, exciting projects to look forward to. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Vidor?
So there was something I thought it may be agendized already, but if it isn't, I thought we could agendize the discussion about Asphalt Art, because I replayed a recording of the April 6th City Council meeting where they talked about the slowing down, the traffic calming initiatives, and there was considerable discussion about asphalt painting and pursuing that as a serious way to calm traffic. And and the commission was mentioned as a potential entity to be involved in that. So I wondered if we had that on the docket to discuss. And then all right, Gary, please.
Chair Tefankian, Commissioner Vidor. So definitely that is in our purview, but my hope is that we get through the mural situation, because this would encompass that. Currently, the city defines a mural as something only going on a wall. Obviously, murals can go anywhere. So what my hope is that we can take the desire to do that kind of art, include it in the mural discussions so that it's kind of included in our process. And then absolutely, we would be interested. I think in that discussion, city was initially interested in some sort of crosswalk art. And there was even mention of desire to do something on the four-way crosswalk in front of the central library. So that's definitely something we would like to bring back to you, but I'd like to do that once we get through the mural discussion. So it's definitely something I think the commission should agendize in the future, but let's, and that takes more than me wanting to agendize it and more than just one commissioner, but once we get through the mural discussions and get all that locked down, then I think it would be natural to look at something like that. Would just be my suggestion. Thank you.
That does sound great, and I'm wondering then if Ms. Odenkirk, who will be developing things, would incorporate street painting into the definition of a mural, because it seems like that would be appropriate.
We will ask her to do that.
Okay, thank you. And then my second comment had to do with a question that came to me that I thought was kind of a general question. It was in relationship to one particular arts group, but wayfinding. What is the policy or the approach of the city on wayfinding signs with respect to cultural institutions? Because it was noted that the Alex is on some of the wayfinding signs, but also things like, the Brand Boulevard of Cars. And some folks were wondering if arts institutions could be added to the wayfinding program. And I'm not familiar with what the wayfinding program is, so I thought I'd just bring that up.
We can certainly surface it with the city, but that would be under the purview of Public Works Department. But because I think, yes, I've seen Alex Theater notated, but are you saying that some others aren't?
Yes.
Okay, so that's something I'll bring up to them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Yank, any comments?
I just wanted to congratulate the committee that works on the Adams Square station, and also Jennifer Fukutomi Jones for curating such a great selection of projects. I'm really excited about them, and they really fit the space well, the way that they're envisioned. So I know it's a tricky, it's a tricky context, and I thought that it was great to see those artists. It was also great to see. I know one of the mask project had been proposed for the Black History Call, and it just wasn't quite the right format. But I think this is a really nice realization of that idea in this context. So I just wanted to commend your work on that.
Thank you. Well, I'm glad to hear that a project that didn't go through once came back again and is coming up. So yeah, that's great. And yes, thank you, Jennifer, for all your hard work. Not only for that, for everything that you do. So
Thank you, and I appreciate. I agree that the Marshall Yappo, who did propose the Black Souls for, I think it was Black History Month. Commissioner Yank, you can attest that the idea wasn't quite fleshed out, but he really took to heart, I think, the recommendations and really fleshed it out much more for the Adams Square. So we're happy that he considered applying again.
okay, thank you, everyone. Do we have anything else? Written communications?
No written communications, and 9 is adjournment.
Okay, that was a quick meeting today. All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Great
Thank you.
meeting.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.